Hi everybody, Jeremy here from Studio, and today I'd like to share with you how to do randomized loop animation in Davinci Resolve using the Perturb Modifier. So let's check it out. Alright, so in Davinci Resolve and now we're on the Fusion page, and I would like to share with you one of the modifiers available in Fusion that I think is very useful whenever you want to create a random animation. It is the Perturb Modifier. You can use it on pretty much every parameter on pretty much every node. So right now, for example, I have a text node. So here I'm gonna right click on the tracker, modify with, that's where you have a bunch of modifier. We saw a few of them already in past video, like the MIDI extractor or the follower modifier. But right now we're gonna check the Perturb modifier. So let's just click on it. And here, as you can see, we have now access to the modifier tab with a bunch of parameters. I'm going to come back to that in a minute. But here, as you can see, if I play, we have an animation automatically done for the text. So here you can see the value of the tracking is changing, and that change is random. There is obviously a pattern now, but I don't have control fully over that pattern. It's just Davinci Resolve creating directly that animation. So now let's go back to the modifier and see what kind of control we have over this. So as I've said, right now the animation is random, but there is a pattern, but we can change that pattern here with the random seed. So now we have a different pattern, and you can just click reseed multiple times and get the pattern that you prefer. So it's completely random. There is not that much control that you can have over that. But then you can adjust the strength of that by playing here with the value. So here, if I raise the value, as you can see, it's just gonna accentuate the effect. But if that was higher, that will just make the space between the letter higher. So right now, we're just gonna put it at 1. You can adjust the strength of the effect. You can adjust the wobble. So that's kind of how frenetic the effect will be. And you can adjust the speed as well. So right now it's way quicker, for example. Some of you might think, oh my God, that's useless. I can do that animation directly by dropping my own keyframe, etc. Yes, sure, depending on what you're trying to do. So in that case, for example, with the text, it's just because it's very visual, but that's not necessarily the best use cases. Let's try another example. So here, I'm just gonna bring a background node, and I'm gonna just link the output of that background to the media out. And now we're gonna use the Perturb modifier on the red, green, and blue channel to get a random color change. So here I'm just gonna right click, modify with, Perturb, same here with the green, and same here with the red. Now I'm just gonna move those values around so they are random. And now if we play it, as you can see, we have random change happening. We could then just go to the modifier, and here we have the Perturb 1, Perturb 2, Perturb 3, and we can just play around with the seeding to have more random between each of the color channel, so we get again different results. So now that each channel got a different random seed, we get a different pattern popping up. So this could come very handy, for example, when you're making background. If you use that on gradients, for example, you could create very interesting stuff. Here, let's just bring purple and some red. And now let's just use Perturb on the red. And if we go to modifier, we have a bunch of options. We can just play around with each of those values, adjust the strength. Right now, I'm gonna increase the speed so you can actually see a bit more the change of color. But if I play it, as you can see, we can have a random change of color on that gradient. So at a lower speed, it can be just an interesting way to have like a nice background that continuously change colors. Another cool use, for example, could be with a mask reveal. So here I have a black background, I have a piece of media merged with it, and I could just click right there on the mask. I'm just gonna link the width and the height with an expression. And here, let's just reduce that mask. And now I could simply just right click on center, modify with, Perturb. And now as you can see, we have the mask just looking around. So you can use that, for example, as a reveal for what is behind the mask. So for example, you could have that mask searching for something. And then, after maybe 2 or 3 seconds, for example, you could animate the size of the mask. So going back there, put a keyframe on the height, and then just couple frames forward and just bring the height at 2, and it will do, for example, like a reveal like this. Here in the modifier, you will have sometimes different parameters depending on what you're using. So here, for example, because I've applied that modifier on position, I have other resources that I didn't have, for example, with the color. So now we can adjust the X scales. If I adjust the Y scale, it will do it only horizontally. You could use that, for example, here on an icon. So I have a transform node, an icon, and a white background. I'm just gonna go to the transform, right click on position again, and here modify with perturb. And now again, we have the target just moving randomly and then coming back to the center. You could use it on multiple parameters at once. So here, for example, if I apply it on size as well, we have random movement on the position and we have random movement on the scale. And that's pretty much it. I just wanted to share with you this modifier because a lot of people don't know about modifiers, so I hope you discover something new. Let me know in the comment what kind of video you would like to see next. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you in the next one. Bye! Speed up your workflow and create better videos using the pack available on our website, including titles, transition, and templates, but only for Davinci Resolve. Get started today by downloading our free starter pack containing a compilation of 20 titles curated from our library. Link in the description below or at videodjastudio.com.